Picture a Paleolithic morning. You're warming yourself by the fire, and a pair of intense amber eyes stares back at you from the darkness. This isn't the start of a horror movie. It's the signing of the most lucrative contract in human history. Wolves, nature's fierce cleanup crew, decided that rummaging through bipedal scraps was a much better career move than chasing deer across the frozen tundra. And so began the deal of the century, with bones as currency and safety as dividends. We thought we tamed these predators, but take a close look at your Chihuahua or Corgi. Who's really running the show here? You get up at 7 in the morning to walk this creature, scoop up its waste, and spend half your paycheck on premium kibble. It seems evolution played a cruel joke on us. We offered wolves a warm home and a steady diet, and in return, we got a living security alarm, a nose that outperforms any thermal imaging camera, and, of course, an endless supply of oxytocin. Biologists call this symbiosis, but let's be honest, it was a brilliant marketing campaign by the canines. They outsourced hunting and winter heating to us, keeping the role of the privileged roommate who doesn't have to do a single thing except wag their tail at the right moment. Back then, life was like playing survival mode on the hardest difficulty. While our ancestors were trying not to become lunch for cave lions, a few hustler wolves realized, if you can't beat the hominid, run his social calendar. In the end, we got loyal companions who can sniff out friend from foe in a single breath. And they got a cozy couch and the status of favorite family member. This wasn't domestication. It was a masterclass in psychological manipulation. We thought we were breeding helpers, but we actually fell hook, line, and sinker for a bunch of fluffy strategists who just wanted to swap a drafty cave for a warm hearth. Now we carry them around in our arms, buy them designer sweaters, and excuse their mischief because they just love us so much. So who looks like the top of the food chain now? While scientists argue over dates and genetic selection methods, the wolves are having a quiet laugh, watching us run to the store for their favorite treats yet again. The contract went into effect tens of thousands of years ago, and judging by the number of dog photos on your phone, it's completely We became prisoners of our own compassion, turning fearsome hunters into the kings of our living rooms, royalty who have no idea how much backbreaking labor goes into maintaining their comfortable lifestyle. So next time your pet looks at you with mute adoration, remember, they aren't just begging for food. They're testing how well you've learned your role in their master plan for survival. And by the looks of it, you're absolutely nailing it. Imagine, you're a fierce predator whose resume consists entirely of ripping throats open and outrunning the wind. But one day, you decide that the trash heap next to a prehistoric camp smells a hell of a lot better than fresh venison you actually have to chase down. That is how the greatest deal in Earth's history went down. Wolves with slightly lower aggression levels and a slightly higher appetite for free food started hanging around the campfires. It wasn't a conscious choice, it was a biological trap. It all came down to hormones. The ones who weren't terrified of the bipeds had lower cortisol levels. Less stress meant a better shot at surviving on leftovers. Over time, their bodies began to change. Scientists call this domestication syndrome. The concept is simple. By choosing the friendliest animals, humans accidentally triggered a genetic upgrade. These furry candidates for couch potato status started developing shorter muzzles, softer bones, and floppy ears. It was the ultimate system hack. Along with stress hormones, they lost their extra teeth, and their hormonal profile shifted into permanent puppyhood. In essence, a dog is a wolf frozen in puppyhood forever. They kept the curiosity and dependency on a leader that wild beasts usually outgrow by puberty. Except now, instead of an alpha wolf, the pack leader is a human holding a leash and a bag of treats. Freedom turned out to be an overrated asset. For a bowl of warm mush and a good scratch behind the ears, the ancestors of our dogs traded away their ability to survive on their own. It's the perfect symbiosis. We got loyal guards, and they got a guaranteed dinner without the risk of being mauled by rival packs. Nature pulled off a neat trick. It made them addicted to our attention, converting raw aggression into a wagging tail. Now look at your pet. What you see in their eyes isn't just devotion. It's cold, hard genetic calculation. They know that if they fetch a slipper or give you the look at just the right moment, the owner's oxytocin levels will skyrocket. And voila, a free slice of cheese magically appears in their mouth. We think we tamed them, but maybe they're just masterfully using us as an infinite resource for comfort and safety. Who actually won this survival game? The question remains open while your dog sleeps soundly on a couch you bought with your hard-earned money. Once those early canines officially traded their freedom for a steady meal ticket, their job description began to rapidly evolve. They went from campfire-dwelling opportunists to highly specialized professionals. Ancient hunters quickly realized, why waste energy tracking prey when you can delegate it to a four-legged colleague? The dog became the ultimate Neolithic gadget. A GPS, radar, and early warning system rolled into one. They didn't just help hunt deer, they changed the game, allowing humans to save calories for more important things like cave painting. But human ambitions grew. As soon as we settled down, our furry friend's job description shifted again. They went from field assistants to full-time perimeter security. Anyone approaching a settlement with bad intentions was met with barking that worked better than any modern CCTV system. This was the transition from active partnership to passive conformism. The dog became part of our social infrastructure, a living door lock that, unlike a wooden latch, also knew how to show empathy. But the real magic happened when the dog discovered its ultimate superpower, being a status symbol. In ancient civilizations, owning a rare or exotic-looking dog was the equivalent of driving a modern-day supercar. If you had a dog that didn't herd sheep or guard the house but just sat there looking pretty, it meant you were rich enough to feed a freeloader. That was the moment utility became status. The dog stopped being a tool and became a marker of social success. Look at this evolutionary plot twist. From a fearsome predator capable of surviving sub-zero temperatures to a delicate creature shivering in a designer hoodie. We taught them to be convenient, predictable, and above all, endlessly loyal. They became the ultimate conformists because they realized that in the human world, obedience is a better currency for survival than fangs. They adapted perfectly to our demands, turning from equal partners into the most willing hostages of their own charm. We built them a golden cage, and they, in turn, gave us the illusion of power over nature. So while you're picking out a collar to match your dog's mood, remember, you're not choosing an accessory. They're letting you feel like you're in charge, all while playing a silent game of dominance through absolute dependence. Look, we've reached peak absurdity here. You're standing in the middle of a park, smartphone in one hand, plastic poop bag in the other, ready to clean up after a creature that doesn't even know how to use a can opener. If aliens are watching us from space, they must be placing bets on who the real alpha is. You, a college-educated bipedal primate with a mortgage and a complex nervous system, meekly follow a dog, dutifully scooping up its waste. Meanwhile, the dog doesn't even bother to look grateful, viewing this service as a basic feature of its existence. This isn't just friendship. It's a masterclass in manipulation spanning millennia. We traded our hunting grounds for office cubicles, and wolves traded the forest for our apartments, turning us into personal assistants, chefs, and janitors. The symbiosis is complete, but the division of labor is incredibly skewed. You work to pay for the vet, the groomer, and premium kibble, while the dog's only job is to let you pet them when you're stressed about deadlines. It's the perfect business model. The pet gets a full benefits package, and you get the illusion of power over nature. We call them our dogs, but the biological reality is much more cynical. We've become slaves to our own oxytocin-driven reactions, voluntarily putting on an invisible collar. This whole domestication story is a monumental failure of the human ego. We fancied ourselves masters of the planet, but ended up as mere accessories to canine comfort. While we build careers, they focus on the real work, masterfully training us to meet their needs. And you know what the scariest part is? We're completely fine with it. We're actually proud of how well we play the servant. Because in a world of constant change, stability is carrying a little plastic bag while your furry boss wags his tail. Knowing his power over you is absolute and game over, and the score is not in our favor. But when you get home and look into those devoted eyes, you'll forget all about your pride and open another bag of treats. After all, Servitude isn't so bad when it smells like home and the genuine love you work so hard to earn every single day.